Hey guys, thanks for watching this video, and I know I haven't made some videos in the past little while, but that's because life has a tendency to suck you in once in a while, and currently I've been busy with track and field, homework, work, school, extracurricular activities like weightlifting, because I weight train, and trying to squeeze YouTube and making videos into all this is pretty hard, because it takes me a couple hours to make one video, but that's because I don't edit, because of my stupid editing software. But anyways, there's a friend on YouTube that I have. He's a real good friend of mine. Go check him out. Go subscribe to him. God Debunker. He even has a video on there asking about miracles and stuff that he really needs answered. So go check him out. But he dropped me an email, and I gave him my word on it that I would answer his email. And so here I am. And his email says it deals along the line of prayer. And I also gave you guys a site in my last video or the video before that talking about how I'm going to go through a site called godisimaginary.com or .org. The first proof on that site has to deal with prayer, and this kind of has to deal with prayer as well, but this is an entirely different curriculum, so nothing I say here gets tied to the prayer in that site. So anyways, let's get to the email. He said, "If God is all-knowing and knows what everyone needs, then why bother praying? God gives and takes accordingly to what people need at every given moment, so doesn't that make praying unnecessary?" You've given some pretty good questions that need good answers, and I'm not going to lie, at first glance and first thought, actually, if you don't mind, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. I'm just going to dissect your email into two parts because you aroused two questions. So, you've given some really good questions that really made me think, because at a glance, when I didn't investigate into this, I kind of thought you were right, because since God is all-knowing and knows what everyone needs, then it kind of is useless to pray. But here's the thing. You asked, if God is all-knowing and knows what everyone needs, then why bother praying? Well, God does know everything. He is omnipotent, and He knows what you're going to say even before you say it. But it really isn't a bother to pray to God, because there's what's the word? It isn't useless, because it's more or less a relationship with God. It's keeping that relationship strong with communication. The only way I guess I can say that is just we don't ask for stuff. It's not like in prayer how it's like asking you shall receive. That's related to the other website. Well, it's not necessarily like that. You see, praying, God does know what you're going to say even before you say it. It doesn't make prayer unnecessary, because prayer in itself is basically communication between me and God, is keeping the relationship between us close. It's like if I had a best friend, me and that best friend would probably talk a lot because we have a close relationship and we talk about whatever goes on. And if we didn't talk, it'd make that relationship not too strong. But also, the other thing of prayer isn't necessarily to do with asking, let's say, Lord, please help my sick friend. It's about keeping that connection, and it's basically casting your cares upon God because He cares for you. And I guess the more on praying is that it's, what was I going to say? It's basically a way that you can say to God, I put my faith and trust in you, so that because your decision, whatever it may be, is right for my life. It's basically giving your life over to the Lord and telling Him what you do is best for me. That's what prayer is. It isn't necessarily asking you shall receive. It's a close personal connection with God and a relationship. But there is a couple Bible verses I'd like to read, and I kind of lost my spot, so hopefully I can find them in the time being. The first one is Philippians 4:6-7. So he says, "Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Jesus Christ." So praying gives you more of a sense of security, that you know that you're putting your faith in God, that what He does is best for your life. So you don't have to be anxious about a situation because God is in control. That's basically what you're telling God, is that, okay, God, you know what, you're in control of this situation. I'm putting my faith in you. So that's one of the verses. Then another verse is in Thessalonians 5:17. It says, "Pray without ceasing." Now that's kind of hard to do, but that's what God asks of you, because when you pray to God, you keep that close personal relationship, and it doesn't wilter away. So another verse would be 1 Peter 5:7, and he said, "Cast all your cares upon him, for he cares for you." So he wants you to come to him with all your problems, and he will help you with them because he cares for you among all other things. So why do I bother to pray even though I know God already knows what I'm going to talk about? It's because I keep that close personal connection with God. So hopefully that answered your first question in your email. And I know that was a long answer, but hopefully it's adequate enough for you. But on to the second question. God gives and takes accordingly, this is what you said. God gives and takes accordingly to what people need at every given moment. So doesn't that make praying unnecessary? Now, I hate to say it, God Debunker, but this question is invalid. Now, you might be scratching your head and wondering why, but let me just take this into perspective here. You said God gives and takes according to what people need at every given moment. So if God gives you and takes everything you need at every given moment, you think that it makes prayer unnecessary. It actually doesn't. It's outside of God's nature to give and take according to what people need. Reason being, right now, everyone in this world needs salvation. God can't force salvation upon you because really you need salvation. So it'd be out of God's nature to bypass free will that he gave you to give you salvation, something that you need. So really your first, sentence here, God gives and takes according to what people need at every given moment, is incorrect because he doesn't do that. And you also said, so doesn't that make praying unnecessary? No, it doesn't make praying unnecessary because praying is all about keeping the personal connection close with God and putting your faith and trust in him that what he does is good for you. So I hope I've answered your email adequately enough for you so that you can hopefully understand a little bit more about this prayer. I can't wait to tackle that proof online because that's a doozy, and there's a couple good points that guy raises online, but there's also a couple of faults that he has, and I need to debunk that. So thank you for watching my video, and hopefully this was good enough for you, and catch you on the flip side.